for taking the time to attend this event. Can you all hear me okay? Before making the introductions, I'll make a few comments. We'll have a short video, followed by the talk by our two guest speakers. Then there will be a brief intermission for food and fellowship. And then there will be a presentation on American Muslims. And then there will be time for questions and comments. I ask that you write down your comments or questions in one of the notepads or index cards that are around. And before I finish, I'll introduce the persons who will come and pick them up. We'll pick up the questions at the beginning of the intermission, so you got plenty of time to think about what questions you'd like to ask. This event is about community, not theology. It is about American Muslims. It is not about the religion of Islam. If you would like to learn about Islam, please do invite us to your organizations and churches. We have presentations, and we'd like to give this to you. Please wait to be invited. But this event is about community. And this event is also not to rehash the episode coming out of the Facebook posting. My name is Zach Mohyuddin. I have lived in Tutalahoma, here in Coffee County, for the past 24 years. I'm a registered professional engineer. I'm originally from Bangladesh, grew up in Pakistan, and moved with my parents to Nashville in 1975. I've been an American citizen, and proudly so, since 1981. That's 32 years ago. Let me make 4 brief points as we start the program. Gathering like this is a reminder that of a simple fact of life: nothing stays the same. Change is always happening. The American Muslims are part of the changing demographics of this country. The challenge for our political, economic, civic, spiritual, business leaders is how to effectively manage the change to make us. The strength of the United States historically has come from taking on changes and not be stuck in the present, or worse, stuck in the past.
I love the past.
In this context, I am reminded of a quote that I learned many years ago. I think it's very relevant at all times. The quote is from the 1890s. That is going down some past. The quote was from the head of the United States Patent Office. He said, "Everything that has been invented, can be invented, has been invented. Everything that can be invented has been invented." And he went on to propose to close the patent office. Imagine what America would look like today if the collective wisdom set in that there is nothing new to discover and nothing unfamiliar to explore. So I invite you this evening to learn about American Muslims based upon objective information and not based upon fear of the unfamiliar. Point number two I'd like to make is our public officials must vigorously defend everyone's constitutional rights. That's right. Everyone's constitutional rights, whether they arise from the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, or any of the others. Our collective freedom, yours and mine, depends on our ability to pursue all the rights that are given to us under the Bill of Rights. And at one point or another, we all need one of those rights that are given under the Bill of Rights. And point number 3, it must be unacceptable and unfashionable to lump all American Muslims into a one-dimensional, exaggerated stereotype, one that is based on the distorted and self-reinforcing assumptions of who we are.
And that's your assumption.
You are entitled, all of us, we all are entitled to opinions, but I do ask that you look at changing your assumptions. And also consider that some of the sources of information have a financial and vested interest in putting the Americans in the worst light possible. There's a lot of books and DVDs to be sold. By self-reinforcing assumption, this is what I mean, a narrative that goes like this. Well, all American Muslims cannot possibly be loyal to the country or the Constitution because their faith requires otherwise. And this is the
Sharia Law.
And what happens is when Muslims gain positions of authority and responsibility, it then is looked upon as additional evidence that yes, Muslims are subverting the government, or that they're not true Muslims. It is the catch-22. I hope during this discussion we get to look at some of the examples. Number 4, no human being aspires to merely be tolerated. The American Muslims are no different. We are standing for our rights, grounded on the firm conviction about our loyalty to this country and our goodwill towards this country. I ask that you view us for who we are, not who that somebody has decided we are supposed to be based on out of context, literal reading of religious text. In turn, I ask the American Muslim leadership to specially engage the youth to prevent radicalization. Make it also unacceptable and unfashionable to build up a narrative that only the Muslims have been singled out. Teach them history, how many other ethnic and religious groups have over time in our history been looked upon with suspicion. The Mormons, the Catholics, the Jews, the Japanese Americans, and yes, even the Irish at one point or another. And the Muslim leadership should also push back on the narrative which builds up resentment, can build up resentment, that colonial injustices happen only in Muslim lands.
No, they have.
Teach them that they happened in other lands also, like colonial America and China. The American leadership, the Muslim leadership should also provide, in my opinion, rigorous cultural competency training to recent immigrants so that they recognize how cultural practices they brought from their homelands can easily be misappropriated or misinterpreted and lead to destructions. I end with a note of optimism about the future of American Muslims in this country. Looking forward, here it is June 2013 on forwards. I'm optimistic. And how could I not be? Listen to this. A Mormon just ran for the presidency. Today, all 9 justices of the United States Supreme Court are either Catholics or Jewish. Today, anybody with any background can join the military. Nobody is barred from the military because of who they are. And number 4, less than 70 years after the internment of Japanese Americans, some of the largest employers in this area are from Japan. America is a work in progress. But what I would like to do is introduce some of our local leaders, and then also mention we have the Honorable David Pennington, Mayor of Coffee County. I didn't see Mayor Glenn Curley. He from Taloma. He was going to come, didn't make it, and I didn't see Mayor Lonnie Norman from Manchester. Commissioner Barry West was here. All the commissioners and elected officials, local officials, please stand up and be recognized. You wanted to know, we had also invited Representative Judd Medini and State Senator Janice Bowling, both are out of town, and had also extended an invitation to Congressman Diane Black. And before I finish, I would like